Hello, I'm Chef Cristopher Koetke from Chicago in the USA, and I want to thank you for watching these set of videos on how to prepare and cook duck like an expert. When we opened up the duck before, we pulled out a number of different organs from the inside of the duck, and I want to talk about each one of these because each one has its own texture and flavor, and we cook them differently, but the thing they all have in common is they're absolutely delicious. So let's start with one of my favorites, which is the duck neck. And the duck neck, a lot of times people don't do a lot with this, but the reality is that the meat here in this duck is exceedingly flavorful. It's very dark, it's very richly flavored, a lot of gelatin. So what do we do with this? I like to slow cook it in a little bit of very rich duck stock. And it takes a couple of hours until it's very tender, but once it's tender, all you have to do is take that duck neck and then very simply pull the meat from the duck neck, and that meat, I can do a million things with it. I can do, for instance, quesadillas, I could make raviolis, and the list goes on and on with this delicious, flavorful duck neck meat. All right, the next thing is we have a heart. Now the heart is one of those organs that people don't pay a lot of attention to either, but the flavor of the heart is rich and very sweet. And what I like to do with this is simply season it with a little salt and pepper, saute it in a very hot pan until it's medium sort of doneness, and it makes a great appetizer. But let me show you one little trick. One thing we can do with this is we can take our finger and basically just stick the finger right inside of the duck heart, like so, and it makes an opening or a cavity inside. At that point, I can put something solid in there. Maybe it's a little piece of sausage, maybe it's a little piece of roasted mushroom, or perhaps even a little bit of foie gras, and then give it a saute. So when you eat it, you have that little surprise of flavor inside of this very delicious muscle. On to our gizzards. Now the gizzard is a very tough part of the duck, but it is full of flavor. So we have to cook it in a way that's going to tenderize it. Braising works great. Poaching for very long periods of time, I'm talking a couple of hours, sometimes 3 hours to get it tender. Or one of my favorite ways to do it is to confit it. And that is basically submerging it in liquid duck fat along with a little garlic, thyme, bay leaf, a little salt, and cook it very, very slowly. Cook it with love until it is extremely tender. And at that point, it just melts in your mouth. The last one is the liver. And duck livers, for me, have a lot of flavor, and they're very rich. And what I like to do with the duck liver is to take it and soak it in milk. Put it in the refrigerator overnight, and then the next day, what I'll do with this is take out any of the sort of little membranes that you find in it, little veins, and just simply give them a little tug so that I keep the liver together and intact. Same thing on the other side, a little pull like that, and that's ready to go. A smaller piece over here. And this part, I'm going to get rid of. The rest of it is ready to be sauteed. I saute it by dredging it in flour, a little salt and pepper, and then into a hot, hot pan, and I saute it until it's medium in the center and nice and crunchy on the outside. And frankly, each one of these has its own personality, and each one is really delicious.